today's cup of coffee, and how many people are grateful that the Christmas thing is over for another year? How many people were wore out with it before Halloween?
Stop the fucking 4th of Christmas and the 4th of fucking July. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't make it mean anything when they do that stuff.
Stop pushing it in fucking August.
Well, it was in July for real there at Hobby Lobby. And it was just, I was astounded.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, and it's like the Halloween stuff, they didn't even, I mean, what they're doing, they're trying to just discount everything. They're trying to wipe out everything except the commercialism. Mm-hmm. And that is not what,
oh, yes, and there's no commercialism in
Christmas,
Halloween.
Yule, all that stuff. Well, there is, but it's a different type of commercialism. It's not pushed the way that the other. Mm-hmm. This is another, as far as Yule. Now, we have to shop early for Krampus stuff, which is what I will do this coming season.
Yeah.
Because we need the Krampus stuff. We do. But anyhow, we do. I do. I needs it. I needs it in my life.
I think that's more of a want than a need, but all right.
Well, yeah, that's true. If it's not a 20-ounce mug, then I don't or need it.
I was going to get you this egg that had a dragon in it, but, you know.
Well, that would be good.
It was like a glass egg with like a baby dragon in it.
Well, how cool is that?
But I have no idea where you would put it.
That goes into the cryptid thing. You know, I'd find a place for it. But anyhow, we get to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, not just the seasonal stuff. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And from Mysterious Universe, it's not Brent Swatzer. God love him. Brent, God love you. This is actually by Paul Seaburn, and Paul's good. Yeah, he's good. And this was written on December the 22nd, of course, of 2021. And it is the boy whose case inspired The Exorcist has finally been named.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What was his name?
You need to tell us it now. That's the whole point of this. And Mr. Seaburn writes, if not at the top, The Exorcist is high on the list of scariest novels and scariest movies of all time. What many people don't realize is that author William Peter Blatty based the 1971 book on a real account of a case of a demonic possession and exorcism which occurred in 1949 that Blatty heard about that year while attending Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. It has been 50 years since the publication of the best-selling book, an appropriate anniversary for the revelation of the identity of the possessed boy whose real name has been kept secret. Who was Roland Doe?
Oh.
And
you know what's funny? That movie never actually, scared me.
The book is honestly one of the best, well-written books that I have ever read, and I've read quite a few books over the years.
Yeah, I need to read the book too, because you said it was a really good book.
It is.
But for some reason, Western horror or Western, possessions or whatever, never scared me. But I was always more fascinated by Asian ghost stories, because those seemed more terrifying to me.
Their storytelling style is different.
If you haven't ever, I know everybody has watched the American version of The Grudge, but if you watch Ju-on, the original Ju-on, it is so much better. It is so much better. Same for The Ring, which is Ringu, which is also coming to Dead by Daylight soon, which I am so excited about. But so much better than the American versions.
Well,
way better. Way better.
The movie, of course, you had the Linda Blair thing, and that was a lot of the basis of the movie, which was a lot of sensationalism. The book is very different in a lot of ways from the movie. Mm-hmm. And it just...
because Hollywood fucks everything up.
Well, yeah. Well, they, trying to get the bang for the buck is what it is. They got to have those money shots and stuff. Anyhow, I'm not sure exactly who it says when I asked somebody, I don't know if that is Mr. Seaburn or what. They didn't say who was interviewing these people, so I'm just going to roll with it like it's written. And it says, when I asked Mark Obsesnik if he now felt comfortable confirming whether his investigation had uncovered that Ronald Hunkler was in fact Ronald Doe because Ronald had since died, he replied, the haunted boy is Ronald Hunkler. And that's Hunkeler. And he said that's a fact. In a lengthy article in the Skeptical Inquirer, the magazine for science and reason. Now, what kind of... We've talked about these skeptics.
Yeah.
Anyhow, J.D. Sword, an investigator and host of the podcast The Devil in the Details, explains how he found and interviewed a number of people who were involved in the exorcism or had conducted investigations on their own. Mark Obsesnik, Mark, we will refer to him as Mark, was one such investigator who had discovered many rumors about the boy were untrue. The alleged story was that Ronald Doe, or Robbie Mannheim, heard strange sounds in his bedroom after the death of his Aunt Tilly, a spiritualist who taught him how to use a Ouija board. When a minister in medical experiments couldn't help him, the family found Jesuit priest Father William Bowdern, who performed more than 20 exorcisms on Roland over 2 months, assisted by fellow priest Father Walton Halloran, Father Hughes, and Father Raymond Bishop. Bishop's diary being used by Blatty. Because I knew that there were things that were in there that somebody who was just making stuff up about how they thought exorcism was. No, this had... As far as authority, it was written by somebody who knew. Now we know why.
Yeah.
And so it must have been this J.D. Sword that was the interviewer. Father Hughes told me 2 things. One was that the boy lived in Cottage City, and the other is that he went on to graduate from Gonzaga High and turned out fine. And they took Mark's name off. Yeah, Mark got that info from a friend of Father Hughes, found out his date of birth, which was June 1st, 1935, estimated the time Roland would have attended Gonzaga High, consulted yearbooks, and narrowed his identity down to Ronald E. Hunkler. And that was confirmed by a local resident, but Sword says that Mark chose not to reveal Ronald's identity for a number of legal reasons. In an effort to confirm his identity, J.D. Sword confirmed Hunkler's address, found his parents were Edwin Hunkler and Odell Coppage. Coppage? Coppage?
I have no idea.
And that Edwin had a sister named Matilda, Aunt Millie Hendricks. Finally, he discovered Ronald Hunkler died on May 10th of 2020. While we'll never know all the details or be able to definitively prove that nothing supernatural or diabolical took place in 1949, there is overwhelming evidence to suggest the sensational account of the exorcism of Ronald Doe, a.k.a. Ronald Hunkler, is more fantasy than fact. Because they're skeptics doing this.
Yeah.
And they don't believe shit. It could be right in front of them and they will totally discount everything. Anyhow, Sword believes many of the accounts originally said to be first person were actually not primary sources. The New York Post spoke with the unnamed 29-year-old companion of Ronald E. Hunkler. He was said to be estranged from his family, and she revealed that he worked with NASA for many years. And he always feared that his co-workers would find out who he was, and the big shocker, would never have believed that he had been possessed, or that he never believed he had been possessed. Said that Hunkler had said that he wasn't possessed, it was all concocted, that he was just a bad boy.
Bullshit.
From the great amount of research that I have done, people that, when they have been possessed, they have no memory of the time that they were possessed, because they weren't there.
Yeah.
Don't know where they go, but it's not there.
Where do they go with dissociative identity disorder?
Well, that's, yeah. We're still working on that one.
They go in the same place. It's all in the back of the it's all in the back of the mind.
I don't know. I'm still trying. Almost 11 years. I'm
back
trying to
there,
wrap
just
my head
shoved
about
down.
That. All right, that may be what Hunkler said, but one final event before Ronald died caused his companion to wonder. She told the New York Post that a Catholic priest arrived at his home to perform last rites, yet she never called for a priest. And she had stated, I have no idea how the father knew to come, but he got Ron to heaven. Ron's in heaven and he's with God now, end quote. The writer says, is he? Is this the final chapter of The Exorcist? Only Ronald, Hunkler, and God know for sure. So I think it was pretty cool that, dude worked for NASA, that he went on and had just a normal, life.
Yeah. Well, my opinion on Catholic stuff. But they're the only ones, to my knowledge, that deal with exorcisms the most.
Right. I mean, you've got some of the evangelicals and different things like that they think that screaming at demons is going to help somehow.
Yeah.
No.
How dare. You thought I was going to go on a rant.
You do go on a rant. You go on tears because you've been wounded by religion. I get that. And it's just one of those things that those who came before us at some point knew how to deal with demonic spirits. But as we have recently found, when people decided that they knew more than the ancestors did, this has got us in the mess that we're in today, because we think we know things. We know information, but we can't apply it.
Guess another group that knew how to deal with demons and exorcisms and such. The Native Americans.
They did.
They knew very much, and that has been stolen away.
That has, but I will tell you something. There's other cultures that know how to do that, and that
I was just using them as an example.
Right. Now, as far as within the Muslim faith, they still have something that can be done for people that are possessed, but it involves having to travel to another country. I know that in Africa that there are quite a few of the shamans and stuff there that they know how to deal with demonic possession. And I would say that that is probably also true of the Buddhists and the Hindus. So there are still people who know what to do with it. But within Western society, you have had the religion of science take over, and that anybody who does not see things their way is considered a heretic. Yeah. And how dare you question the science?
Yeah, how dare.
So, but if you get the opportunity, definitely read this book. This, because it is just an amazing piece of literature. It's much deeper than the movie could dream of being. There is, as far as, it's not focused about kid spewing pea soup.
The movie was good. Don't get me wrong. The movie was good, but there was so much information that was left out of it.
Right. Well, it would have been like a 4 or 5 hour movie. It would
have been a whole ass like a 10-hour long documentary.
Now, the movie that I watched recently, and I wish I had...
Or a 5-part documentary.
I wish I had remembered the name of that. If I'll go and search that and put that in the description box. That was closer to the actual account of, of the boy that was possessed. Now, that was a really good movie. So I will... find that. It's been within the past several months that I had watched it and really enjoyed it. Possession is a thing. We have seen it. We have had to deal with it. wish that it was theory for us.
Yeah.
It's not like Hollywood.
No, it's not.
And it is disturbing. And even after you have witnessed it and you know what it was that you were witnessing, you have a tendency to gaslight yourself.
And be like, oh, God, did I really see what I saw?
Right. And that is always...
Maybe it could have been this. Maybe it could have been that.
Right. Because that's how we're trained to think.
Right.
You know, that if, it's that indoctrination with the scientific method. Anything supernatural, I always look to see if there is some kind of an earthly whatever.
Yeah.
Rule that out. It doesn't always have to be either or. A lot of times it's combination of all.
Usually.
Yeah.
Usually.
So, but I'm glad that the kid went ahead and was able to have
a relatively normal life.
He worked for NASA. That sounds like a pretty extraordinary life.
Yeah. You right on that.
So, were you getting ready to say something? You keep looking at me when I talk. I don't know.
No, I'm good.
You just sitting.
Yeah.
You just got the sinus issues and you just want to go steam your face.
I just want to steam my face. That's it.
Well, anyhow, we'll do that. So, if you've had experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, encounters, UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you or someone in your family have had experiences with possessions, demonic entities, it's not rare.
Spooky shit in general is not rare.
If you've got family, myth, local, regional, legends, anything like that, just send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us for coffee today. Know that you're loved.
Yes.
And we hope nobody's possessed. Don't be if you need professional help.
Go get an exorcism.
Well, it's a matter of
be gone. I rebuke you in the name of God.
Well, if you
get some holy water and throw it on them, it will steam off.
If you do have a demonic entity, if you think you're dealing with that, find somebody who knows. Seriously, they are out there. Even if you have to call around or whatever, get somebody that has dealt with this before.
Yes.
And it's like, no, we do not do house calls. No. We
ain't qualified for that shit.
No, but I'll tell you this, as far as logging days and weeks and months and years in prayer, that we're qualified to do. We can definitely pray for you.
Whether or not we want it to be.
Well, we've been trained for something. We just don't know what yet. So anyhow.
Oh, frustration. We've been trained for frustration.
I guess. I've had...
So
you all have a beautiful, blessed day, and we'll see you on the next cup.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that little notification button. Bell. Whatever the fuck. If you're on YouTube, it's a bell. I don't know what the fuck it is for anything else.
I think it's a bell on BitChute.
Just click the notification button. We upload daily anyway, so check back whenever you want. Bye.
Bye.